coming on up, and we are live on YouTube. Welcome, Rev Wayne Stills. All right, you are muted, Wayne.
Hello again. Hey, how you doing? How are you?
There we go.
You hear me now? Good, good.
Yeah.
Remember the commercial? You hear me now? You hear me now? You couldn't say that while thinking of the commercial. You hear me now?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad that's off the air because I hated that. Anyhow, it's good to be here. This is Reverend Wayne for the Miracles Everywhere, and we're doing the Impersonal Life today. I'll tell you what, I'll play a song. I never really saw this. It's more like a little piano thing I found. It's nice. It's short, and then we'll get to it. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Let me just make sure I can share my sound here. Take me a second. There we go. And okay, this is entitled. Wait a minute, I've already done this. This is oh god, I can't pronounce this. A souvenir d'Italie. How's that sound? Sound good? By Leah Lazzori.
Okay.
There. Okay, yeah.
What?
All right, that was it. Short and sweet. And that's by La Tazzi. Leola Tazzi. Sounds
Really pretty.
Italian. Yeah, very pretty. I like piano. I play piano a little bit, and I like it. I play just well enough if someone who doesn't know how to play thinks I can play well. That's about it. Those who know, I can't play at all. Okay, so I'm ready. Whenever you are. It seems like a
All right. Get our
hello,
book up
Karen. Hello,
up and
Audrey's note taker. I assume that she's not here, but she's taking notes because I think she wasn't going to be here.
yeah, she popped in and put on her noter taker. There we go.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
And we ended up somewhere like possibly you do now acknowledge me as the giver. So I kind of moved back a little bit because I kind of forgot where we were.
Oh, that's okay. So we read something.
So I'm thinking if we start it here where it says I have been picturing.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay. Can you read it okay? Does it need to be
No, I
big?
can see it. I can see it well.
Okay, good.
Do you want me to start? I can start.
Yes, yes.
I have been picturing the impersonal state from many viewpoints, in order that it may become so familiar that you can unerringly distinguish it from all inferior states, and may learn to dwell consciously in it at will. When you can consciously dwell in it, so my words, when and wherever spoken, can always find lodgment and understanding in your mind, then I will permit you to see, I will permit you to use certain faculties I have been awakening in you. These faculties will enable you to more and more clearly to see the reality of things. Not only the beautiful and the lovely qualities and the personalities of those about you, but their weaknesses, their faults, shortcomings as well. So we'll see clearly into other people, period. But the reason you are unable to see these faults or shortcomings is not that you can criticize or judge your brother, but that I may arouse in you definite resolve to overcome such faults and shortcomings in your own personality. Remark, you would take no note of them in others if this not still in yourself. For I within, there would not need to call them to your attention. That's way of looking at it. It's not very psychological. It's just him sitting there saying, "Look, I was pointing out to you if you need to work on it for yourself."
Yeah, it's really funny. It's because it's like it's almost like when we're reading the Course of Miracles and I see, Jesus like just laughing at us, going, can't you see this?
Yeah,
Doesn't
exactly.
that, honestly, check it out. You're
Yeah, it's almost like he's saying, the reason why I'm showing you this is for your purposes. I mean, and he said, you don't have to think about why, you don't have to think about like the psychology behind it. It's just I would this is why I'm showing it to you.
yeah,
Period.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
This is
And
why
it's
I'm
more,
showing this to you. I'm the one showing you everything anyhow, and this is why.
yeah,
All things are for
and
the use. Is that what we are? All things? Yeah. All things are for use and use only. Let us study for the use gives power. All things are for use and use only. Let us study the use you have hitherto made of other faculties, gives and power I've given you. It's funny how it's like we're making a use out of these things. And he talks about how we make use out of these things, and then automatically moves into the fact that he make uses out of these things for us. He constantly hits on both. We make use out of things for the purposes that he gave those things, and that he walked us through it, so to speak. You
yeah.
must realize the time I have allowed you all things. He says it right away.
Well, and that we were just talking about that in the Course of Miracles a little while ago, where Jesus says, "So God so loved the world that He gave it to His only begotten Son," where people think that it means He gave His Son to die, but actually He
No,
just gave us this world, and
yeah,
and not just this world, any world we should choose to have. Any world we should choose to have in any situation we should choose to have it, which is why we have got ourselves into this situation, is because we took him up on it.
yep. And we
And
have
we
the
became
power we have the power to
handicapped.
make the power to make is very equal to the power that it appears to me at least equal to the power to create.
Yeah,
We're pretty powerful makers. You
we
know,
are.
our ability to miscreate or make is pretty good. It's pretty powerful, and we can do it as long. And I suppose if we know what we're doing and we're making it almost involuntarily, we know what we're doing, and we can turn it into more of a creative process. And
Well,
that's what he seems to be saying. He seems to be saying here. Look, if you know what you're doing, and then you'll be then I can drive you through. I can navigate you in a more peaceful, happy, knowledgeable way.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
And think about it this way. This is kind of how I've been seeing it, is that um, first off, the Course of Miracles tells us that this world is a shabby substitute for
Right.
heaven. It's a shabby substitute. We look at it and go, wow, it's amazing. We have just made this world. Look at all those stars and planets and everything. Look at all these little tiny things. We made amazing things. That's the ego fooling us into accepting something this small instead of the grandeur that we actually possess with God as co-creators. This world is like nothing. Not all those stars, all those everything, that we think are so, they're nothing compared to reality. And so, yeah, I just think that, like I said, he said, knock yourselves out, go out and have fun, play in the mud, make your sand castles, all that kind of stuff. It will never, ever, ever be as good as heaven.
You're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, if you look into whether or not you should use psychic abilities, I always find that fascinating as a chapter because it basically says, look, you can do whatever you want. You can have, you'll know as you get more higher and higher and higher in consciousness, you'll have abilities that will surprise you. But keep it under the auspices of the Holy Spirit, and don't think in any way, shape, or form it's going to be anything compared to what it's going to be like when you finally wake up.
Yeah,
Because if you think so, then you get caught up and you begin to fall off, and you start to worship the abilities as opposed to the source of
yeah,
the ability. You know, you start to worship the creature instead of the creator, and you start to move into a sort of negative place. But otherwise, he says we can use people to help to follow the Holy Spirit and have these abilities. Because then you're moving towards the source, and then all of this is just second rate. You know, I think there was a song I posted the song lyrics once. I think it was by the Righteous Brothers, and it said, if the world is for, if the universe is forever, then this lifetime is a one night stand."
I love
That was
it.
very cool. You know, if the world's forever, then this lifetime is a one night stand. I think it's the Righteous Brothers song I posted. Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So let's see. So you want let me where did we end up? You want me to read on?
sure.
Let's see. Is it did we leave as
I think you said what you must realize.
okay, so you just read that. Okay. So
Yeah,
you must realize by this time I have allowed you all things.
yeah, that's
All
exactly what it was.
that's what we just said. All you have or are, be it of good or evil, of blessing or suffering, of success or failure, of riches or lack, I, I have allowed you or attracted to you. Why? For use in awakening you to a recognition and acknowledgement of me as the giver. That's it exactly. It's all the whole purpose is so that
What's it
we
for?
can awaken to the acknowledgement of God. That is for our own use, our
Mhm.
own best interest. Wow.
And what's it
Uh,
for? What's it for? What do you what's it for? What you're doing? If you figure out what's it for, you can change your circumstance, change your experience.
yeah, yeah.
Everything's for learning a lesson.
And I think honestly, I think that when I learn the lessons, I don't have to have the experience anymore because
Yeah, the experience of well, you learn from you learn from it's a new experience that you're having.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
and did we talk about that movie, The Nines?
no, we had
I,
before. I mean, I know it's a great movie. I've seen it, and I think
yeah,
I brought it up before in the room, so we probably talked about it. Yes,
yeah.
he
So
was
but
he was, he was with no belly button.
yeah, exactly. And the whole thing being that everything that was happening to him in the movie, all these crazy things that were happening to him in all his different forms were them trying to wake him up
Yeah,
to truth of what he was. And you know, finally came to the point where, you know, she had to go really drastic to get him to let go. Um, and you know, she said, you know, you've been doing this for a long, long time.
yeah. You've been here for like thousands of years, whatever it was, and
Yeah.
and then of course Melissa McCarthy was basically the ego.
Yeah, and
She was
she
limiting him.
was there to help him work through everything. And you know, I thought it was really beautiful.
I don't know if she was the ego, but I kind of looked at her as the ego. Like she was helping him stay cozy, stay imprisoned in that little house.
Yes, yeah,
That was
she
her
was.
job. I mean, her job was she cared about him, obviously, the way, but she
Yeah,
cared about him to stay put and accept
exactly.
his fate
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
as somebody that, you know. And she said, as she answered a question for me, I thought it was great when he goes, "You think this is not real?" And she goes, "This is as real as anything gets for you."
Yeah.
It was a great answer because it's like, oh, all right. And so people say that to me now. Are you saying this is all an illusion? Nothing's real here? And I go, well, this is about as real as we're going to get here for us.
Yep. Yep.
You know, it
I
gets
love
more real when we move up in higher consciousness. But in this realm, this is as real as it gets.
This is it. Yeah, yeah.
which is
And
not real. But
exactly.
I do go for the last part very often if I'm talking to somebody that's not really.
And I was like looking at that movie and thinking, well, it's got these people that are, fives and sevens and whatever. And that's not really true. But in our consciousness it is.
Yeah,
We're all nines, but in our consciousness, there are people who are sevens and there are people who are fives and there are people who are ones in consciousness right now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that doesn't mean that they're not the same. We're not the same. It's just that they don't have the experience or the consciousness
Well, of
of,
course. And the thing about it is this is all consciousness, and everything is consciousness, and the ego. The consciousness is all ego,
yeah,
and so essentially, ultimately, we have a perceived hierarchy, and if that's what you're saying. You're saying that there's a 1 through 9. Even though,
yeah,
I mean, because 9 still is, so you could call 9 the right mind.
right.
You could say
Exactly.
9 is because 9 is the highest. I mean, it was above humans were 7, I think, right?
No, he
Uh,
was a nine.
No, but humans were 7, I think.
Oh, humans were they were all different kind of numbers. Remember there's a scene where you're seeing them out on the street and they have their little things above their head that have the numbers.
Yeah. Oh, I
They were
thought they're all different. I thought the human race was 7 overall. Back in different numbers.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
right. Yeah,
Well,
I mean, the reasoning was kind of cool. They go nines are good because that means that you think about the answer. 10 is just means like when I rated Uber, I usually give them a 4 or 5. But very often I
yeah,
just do 5 means I'm not really thinking about it. I'm just gonna give him a 5 so he gets a good rating. But if I
yeah,
want to think about it, I think of that movie. I always think of that movie, and give him 4 out of 5 so he thinks I thought about it. Because this is what the movie said, if you remember. If that means they really thought about it and they're really thinking about it, and if they give you a 9 out of 10 to show you that they thought about it, and that's why the 9 is the highest.
wow. I'm gonna have to rewatch that
Yeah,
movie again
that
now.
was that was why they went with nines. They said 9 is the highest because that means that the person just didn't just check it off to make you feel good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So I thought that was kind of a cool reason to do with the nines. That was a really
Yeah.
wild movie. You had to, I mean, it was a bug out. I mean, it was a real trip. All the 3 layers of reality, and she was in all of them. McCarthy, she was the wife, and then she
Yeah,
was the.
yeah,
This,
yeah. And all of them actually, all the characters. I mean, because they were all here trying to get him to come home, and she
yeah,
was trying to keep him here.
yeah.
So yeah, so interesting.
And it was kind of a musical on its strange way. She was singing at some point.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
all there is. That was a good
Uh-huh.
question. Anyway,
Is
so
that all there is? Yeah,
yeah,
that was, and he was reading Candide, that book Candide. I love
yeah,
it. So much stuff going on in there. But yeah.
yeah. That was a movie, and then of course there was also that other great movie, Vanilla Sky. You see that?
Uh-huh. Yeah. There you go.
Where,
Another one
where
of, what
he's
is
wearing
really,
that mask.
yeah.
And at the end, what's his name? William Hurt. Is that not William Hurt? I forget who it was. He finds out he's not real. Well, I'm real. I'm real. I'm real.
Tom Cruise.
No, yeah, but the guy that was
Oh,
questioning him.
oh, oh. Let
I
me think.
forget, I forget who it was. He's a famous
Anyway, it
actor.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
And he,
So,
he didn't like the fact that he was considered a dream figure.
yeah.
He was yelling, "I'm not a dream figure, no way!" And
Nobody likes that.
no,
Nobody
no,
wants to know that they're a dream figure.
no.
Wake up.
All right, so you must realize you see that you just did that, so it's for you cannot honestly.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, you want me to? I'll read.
yeah.
You could not honestly acknowledge me as such until you knew I am the giver. Your personality, in fact, had become so engrossed in trying to get rid of or to exchange many of the things I've given you for other things you thought were better that, of course, you could not even dream, much less acknowledge me, your own self, as the giver. Wow, you've been so busy trying to get rid of the stuff I gave you and trade it for something else that you wanted. That is hilarious.
Just making up that small self and trying to replace the big self with it.
I think a person could contemplate this for their life.
I mean, think about it. It's like today's view on lesson 184. It's like go to 184. It says basically what we did. We carve everything up out of unity.
Yep.
We name it, separate it, and then it goes over the whole garden thing with the Garden of Eden, Adam naming all the animals. Well, so he was separating everything from himself. It's all about
Yeah.
separating things with the symbols.
And we do that. I mean, when we come into the world as a baby, we don't we have no names for anything, and
No,
everything
exactly.
same to us. And then what happens? We start giving everything names. We start defining what we think we see, and the next thing we know, we don't even know what we are anymore. We've forgotten completely our origin, and we just become a reflection of those things we see. So
We think we're our name. We identify with our name.
yeah, yeah, which I mean that's what that first poem that we studied of Mandy's was, who are you if you're not your name? Or yeah, if you're not your and it really is a good question to ask and a good thing to study. Who am
It's
I if I'm
true.
not this? Yeah,
You're born with a name. And even when you're giving your name, it takes a while before you really identify with it. At first, you're like, normally you start speaking in third person for a while.
yeah,
Johnny wants this, Johnny wants that, Johnny wants this, Johnny feels bad. And then eventually you start taking on the I. About
yeah,
2 years old, you start saying, I want this, I want that. And you start realizing that you are Johnny. And then the programming really begins, you know, because now
yep,
you're no longer separate from Johnny. You're no longer observing Johnny's behavior. You're now Johnny himself, and you want your toys that belong to you. And then
that's
very often
right.
you have your terrible tooth. That's when everything falls apart, man.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. If only you hadn't given him a
A
name.
name. I don't know if that would work right now. You have to use a big movement on that one. The no
Yeah.
name movement. But
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, that was going on when my kids were young.
no
They would,
names.
yeah, where people were, we're not going to name our child. He's going to name himself, and
Oh
he
yeah,
taught
yeah, 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 yeah. I've heard of that. I've heard
siblings
of
to
that.
say his own name. Like,
But what would
do-
you call him then? How do you handle that? What do you call that?
how do
Like
you? Yeah,
yo,
hey kid.
hey
Yeah,
yo, kid. You have to call him by different names every time, also, because otherwise, whatever you call him will become his name.
yeah, that's true. Yep.
So every
Oh
time you speak, you
God,
call him, you have to call him by something different.
we're going to raise a bunch of crazy kids.
That's why you have to have, there has to be a whole bunch of people doing it for you, a whole community of no-namers.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
know what you're talking about, though.
then
Yes.
maybe, yeah, maybe that would work. No,
Uh, so,
this realm right now, we're in the realm of separation. We have to move out of this realm completely.
yes,
This realm is a realm of names
yes.
of me and
Yes.
you. That's
Well,
how
and
we can mean ourselves, me and you, but then still you have a who's who problem.
it's just the desire to be small
Yeah,
and to remain small. And that's why we seem to be stuck in this situation is because we don't know how powerful we really are. We're just
yeah,
stuck here. So let's see. So he says, possibly you do now acknowledge me as the giver and the inner essence and creator of all things in your world and in your life, even of your present attitude toward these things. Oh my gosh. So not only do he's saying not only do is he the source of, let me make this bigger here because I gotta look at it a little bit. But but even our attitude about it comes from him. So it's not like
yeah. Our response. That's interesting. So, well, the rules for decision actually kind of gets into that a little bit. That we're not even making the initial choice itself is made by God, doesn't it? I haven't read that in a while, but if I'm not mistaken, the rules for decision gets into the fact that the initial choice itself, even to make the choice of the teacher that we want to
yeah,
choose, has to be made by the teacher himself to make the right choice.
yeah, yeah,
So if you look at it that way, essentially that's what he seems to be saying, that the attitude himself towards that will enable us to make the right choice is made by God.
exactly, exactly. And
Otherwise, how do you make the right choice?
and the choice is really to agree or not with
Yeah,
what choice is really to say, yeah, I agree with this or I don't. Even if you don't agree with it, you're still going to do what it is that you're going to do. So,
yeah, that's true.
the only real choice is to say I agree. And
Yeah, exactly. In other words, to choose the teacher, to choose the correct teacher.
yeah,
Choose. I choose to agree. Yeah, I choose to agree with the only teacher that I have,
yeah.
as opposed to not choosing not to agree with the only teacher I have, and let him just like I close my eyes and let him throw me and let life throw me around. Or let it feel that way at least. But then, that itself becomes an attitude that was chosen for me. Because, but in a sense, there's something comforting about that because no matter what happens, like you can't get away from God,
That's right.
which is really what he's getting at here. It's like, don't worry, you can't get out of my clutches. You can't get out of
Yep.
you can't get away from me. I always have you, and it's not an imprisonment. The freedom always has you. Call them freedom, and then you'll understand that you're always free. You're never trapped. You're never
Well,
really
yeah.
imprisoned.
That's why we have the ability to do this crazy stuff we're doing.
Right.
Is because he's like, okay, go ahead and do whatever you want, but know this, you can never be hurt. You cannot hurt anything else. Nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. So just go out there and, do whatever you want to do because you're right. You're not getting away from me. I'm still going to be here loving you no matter
Mm.
what. You're not getting away from me. And I see how the ego could say, I don't like that. And you know, just like, my grandkids, when I'm telling them, you got to go to bed now. And they're like, I don't want to go to bed because I'm not tired. And yet, they are, they got to go to bed. And eventually they fall asleep on the floor.
Right. Exactly. Well, the brain, the ego just tries to tell you. It'll tell you my ego tells me things like, "Oh, please, you're gonna die. Yeah, everyone else is gonna die." What are you kidding me? What do you think you're something? It calls you special when you think you're not gonna die. When you think you're special, you're gonna live forever. It tells you things like that. Like, please, this magic that you're talking about, healing. Who heals? And look at all the
Yeah.
people. Even Muhammad Ali couldn't get over Parkinson's disease, and he's the greatest. This is what the ego tells me. This is what ego. So I have to sit there and just say, yeah, 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 but blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, who tells you need to get over Parkinson's
Yeah,
disease?
exactly. I don't even listen to anything it
Who
says.
says that has to happen? That's not necessary. And probably what's going to end up, which I'm sure you probably are, seeing now, is that, you it's the perfect way for you. And it's a way that is, giving you a lot of opportunities to see things differently. And that's what else do you want? Do you want to just live your life and just have everything handed to you and never have to question anything and
Yes.
then
No, I'm
just
kidding.
sleep forever? Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure you do. Yeah, but then you just stay asleep forever. And
No, of
I'm
course
telling
not.
you, try laying in bed for, a few
Oh,
days and
I,
just
I, I did already
not because you
10
don't,
straight
yeah,
days.
you want to get up.
Yeah, I wanted to get up. You're right. I did it for 10 days or 9 days, whatever it was. I never left the bed, and I didn't care for it. When you can't do
Yeah,
something, you kind of want to do it. That's usually how it works. I wasn't. I was okay to sit there for a while, but after a while, it's like I want to move around.
yeah, yeah. And even if you're laying there in the most comfortable bed in the world and they're bringing you the most wonderful food and you have all the entertainment you want and there's not, I mean, you're being
Yeah,
waited
but
on,
yeah,
it
after
doesn't
a while,
matter. You still want to get up.
yeah, especially the body type doesn't want to sit around on the bed anyhow for that long.
Yeah.
Or maybe it could if the mind was into it, but the mind wants to move around anyhow. The mind like get up, move around. But the mind knows the body's fine. The mind knows that the body is just taking wrong hits from the ego.
Yeah.
The bottom line is the ego is saying that it believes I have this disease. I don't really even have it. Now I don't have to get rid of it. As I always say, I have to hoot this place completely, and I'm pretty much usually there. I don't really care about this disease. One thing I care about is when something happens, like I can't walk, or I can't go out for dinner with some friends, or something like that because I want to stay home, or sorry, no one, or I'm talking to somebody and they ask me what 5 times in a row. It's frustrating. That's all.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't care. I'm in that hoopless place. I would say I don't give a hoot. And
Yeah. And
then once I get to that place, then I can move from there into a more. I can allow myself to heal and walk better and talk better.
yeah,
In my own estimation of what that means.
that's
Uh,
right. In your own estimation, that is really the only thing that matters.
yeah, absolutely. It's like I would remember this movie, the original, for the first Rocky. At the end of the movie, he didn't even listen to see if he won the fight, which is ridiculous because at the end of a fight like that, you want to know if you won. But he was more interested in saying in his girlfriend. He was young. Adrian. He didn't look around to see if he won. Because as far as he's concerned, he went the distance. He won. Isn't that wild? In other words, he went. He only wanted to do is well, he decided what winning was for himself, and that was going the distance. That's all he wanted to do. So once that fight was over, he was over. He won. That was it. He couldn't care less what the judges said. And then when I was a little
Wow.
kid, I saw that movie. My father was like, I said, he lost. My father, no, he won, kid. You'll understand that one day. I was like, really? I didn't get that at all. And when I saw it again when I got older, I understood. Oh, I get it. He all he really wanted to do was go the distance. And that was the first time when he hugged Adrian, the first time he ever said to her, I love you. And she said it back. They never said it the whole movie. I love you. I love you too. The hug, and that was the end of the movie. So
That's awesome.
they came out of their shells in that exact moment when he finally won, and it was his own judgment of what that meant.
Yeah. That's amazing.
They
That
didn't even play the win. In the background, they had him raise his hand, and it was like, you didn't hear, no, you heard none of that really stuff at all, which is, it's not boxing, but, I mean, the whole idea of yelling for your girlfriend at the end and all that. No, that's not boxing, but it's drama.
drama. It was good drama. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I've always taken that to say, whatever I think is a win is a win. And, I mean, it's not a competition thing, but whatever I think is a healing, put it that way, is a healing.
Yeah.
I think it was who said it? It was Myrna who just said it. As long as she's around people who care about her, she's healed.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's her thing. And that works for her. Same with me. If I'm not lonely, because if I'm emotionally hurting, that's worse than any physical pain.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what I was thinking, when you were just speaking a few minutes ago about, you know, you know, you're actually only noticing that you have a disease when you're trying to do something that is you're having some difficulty doing because of it. Otherwise, if you're just hanging out and just being, it's not like your whole experience is, I'm just
Right.
sitting here, diseases, Parkinson's,
Abs
that's all I can.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
No, I mean, you're not.
Yeah, we tend to dwell on the parts of our life that are bad, and we dwell on it. It's almost like we meditate. It's like if our body is hurting, one part of our body hurts, we meditate on that part of the body. And
Yeah,
most of our body doesn't hurt. But we focus on the part of our body that does hurt. We ignore most of our body, which is just fine. And same thing in life. We focus on the part of our life that stinks. And you're right. Most of the time, I'm not. It doesn't get in the way. You know. But if I want to walk them a little slower, so what? I can deal with that. And then most of the time, and then I don't really shake at all. My shaking is not a problem. And so it's walking and talking, which obviously sounds important, but it's not like it's really getting. I don't do things all the time, which involves walking and talking.
yeah. And it's not a
And I'm
conscious.
talking now, but I'm sitting down. So this is pretty easy. Sitting and talking is not really a problem.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So what's the problem? You know, it,
Exactly.
that
The
that's
only problem is that I was talking to my wife last night. All medicine has side effects, and it'd be nice to go down on my medicine. So
Oh yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do now because all medicine makes me tired. And when you're dealing with medicine, you're dealing with universal belief. So you're dealing with more than just the medicine on your own belief. You're dealing with, when you put medicine in, you deal with everybody's belief on that medicine. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't just say, all right, I'm gonna take this medicine, this symbol of healing, which is better. I understand that it's a symbol, so it would be easier for me to go down on it, perhaps, than it would have been if I hadn't seen it that way. But still, I'm dealing with everyone's belief on sort of the crowd's belief on that medicine. Which and I take advantage of that, obviously, because I'm taking the medicine. That's what magic is. It's everyone's belief.
Right.
So, I take advantage of it. So it's the point I take advantage of it. It's gonna be hard for me at the same time to stop, just to go down on it. You know,
Well, yeah, and I think about it like uh, what I do, and I don't know if you do this or not, you probably do, is, if the doctor gives me some kind of medication, this is how insane I am, Wayne. I read the thing and I look at what kind of side effects, and then I start looking for those side effects. I
right.
start looking for, am I having trouble with, seeing? Am I having trouble? I look for,
You're gonna
and,
find them.
and I get, yeah, and that's crazy. you
Yeah.
know th- uh, that that's completely going against the purpose of it. And it's like when I got my COVID shots, when I would go for my vaccinations, I would envision that stuff going into my body and
Oh,
going to my,
yeah.
whatever, and strengthening it and making it, you know helping my immune system. I had all this whole vision of what I expected to happen. And I felt it. I could feel it happening in my body. I could feel,
Well,
the
that's okay.
strength
I mean,
being.
this is meditation. I mean, you can do that with light, put light through your body, white light, stuff like that. And people can do that. It's not, I mean, it's if you think that if you don't do it, you have problems, or you have to do that out of fear or terror. But if you just do that as sort of a meditation, I've done that before. It's more
Yeah,
calming, you know.
yeah. Just look at it like this is here to help me. And
Yeah. I mean, yeah, all it really
otherwise,
is, it's a meditation. And, it's a prayer, really. If you look at it like it's a prayer,
yeah,
you know.
or a spell. I look at it more, instead of like prayers, I look at it more like spells.
Oh, yeah, yeah, all right, that's cool. I mean, I think you put a little spell on you. If you do it that way, I guess everything can be a spell. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And medicine is a spell. This is a 6 hour spell. This is a 12-hour spell.
I mean, magic. It's a magic spell.
That's right.
And if and I also look at things, that sometimes things are curses. And so, like, if my I see some people and they say, oh man, this town is really a crappy town. I'm like, don't you curse my town
Yeah,
with your thoughts of happiness. That's you're cursing us to have a crappy town. Why don't you say this is a wonderful town? We have wonderful things happening here. That's, if you're going to do magic, do it
yeah,
in a positive.
absolutely. That's
But
what happens when you fill your mind up with certain thoughts, and you can
yeah,
really, if I watch a lot of movies of a certain type, if I watch a lot of movies, like horror movies or something, then eventually those thoughts come naturally. I walk up to the window or something, and I imagined a perfect horror setup. Someone reaching in and grabbing you, or a bullet hitting you in the head. And wouldn't it be horrible if I had this happen? We watch so many movies, those thoughts just flow out. You walk around your house and you think of, oh yeah, this would be a perfect place for someone to jump out of like the closet. Because you
yeah,
watch, I watch these movies with my daughter, and so I think about it, that's almost like you're cursing the environment,
uh-huh,
you
yeah.
know. And
Thought
I try to convert it to creative thinking, and I try to write films and stuff like that. So it's like repurposing thoughts and using it for something else.
oh,
So so therefore, it becomes a creative process instead of just me making thoughts up to curse the house. And she was the same way, my daughter. She said, to me, it helps me understand people and their problems. That's what she says to me. So,
that's really sweet. She's a sweet girl, man.
yeah, she watches, like, it's dark stuff. I mean, you see the girl in the basement?
No.
It's about a guy, and it was with Judd Nelson, and
Yeah,
you know,
I'm already freaked out.
Breakfast Club. He played the husband, and it's about a true story about a girl who the father locked her in the basement for 40 years, I mean for 25 years, 30 years, locked her in there. His daughter, she's not stepdaughter, she's real daughter, biological daughter, and forced her to have family with him, two, three
Wow.
kids, and kept her there for 30 years. Finally they found her and let her out. She escaped, and the kids were let out, and he was put in jail. But still, I
Man.
mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah. That's,
Yeah, she and I was like, oh, it's a true story. I like to hear about that kind of stuff. So I can know who's out there. She feels like she's learning about people.
yeah. And there are people that are crazy like that because why? They don't feel they don't feel safe. So they think the way to be safe is to control the things that they think they need in their life. So he thought he needed uh you know
So it's like
the
on his daughter.
this person to be his basic slave, really.
Yeah, well, this person, it was his daughter.
Yeah,
Nothing much more
that's really
crazy
sad.
than that. I mean, it's one of those things. It's one of those things we probably never have heard of. And she heard of she heard of it, the movie on TikTok. So
Uh-huh.
it was 20, 30 years ago. We never heard of this at all. And
Yeah,
it's amazing what we're hearing about now. But still, it's just one of those stories that's the kind of stuff that so when your head goes to, if you don't repurpose these images that come up in your head naturally, then you'll end up just, they'll be popping up in sort of like automatically.
yeah, yeah.
And they could act, as you said, as sort of curses, magic spells that sort of create, make up images and experiences for yourself that are sort of somewhat tumultuous if you don't pay attention to them. Now, of
Yeah.
course, we learn from here that those roller coaster tumultuous type images and experiences are guided by our higher self anyway, so we're safe.
They're gifts to us, which
Exactly.
is, when you think it sounds crazy, but then you have to look at it that way that, of course, of course, it has to be that, God would never give us a world like this. So, but God also says, I'm not going to stop you from doing what if you want to try this out, try it. See how many ways you can kill yourself. It's just like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. How many times did he have opportunity over and over and over and over to learn the lesson that he needed to learn? It was like us in our lives, except for he was conscious of it the whole time.
Yeah.
So, but we're doing the same thing. So,
Yeah. We do the same thing over and over and over. We come back, keep coming back until we learn our lessons.
yeah,
There's nothing left to learn here.
right. And we get to entertain ourselves, and it's like going to the movies. You want to go to every movie that was ever made. Sometimes you're going to be really bored. Sometimes you're going to be really scared. Sometimes you're going to be intrigued, and but
Imagine,
it's
imagine that if we have to do that. Imagine we get next life, and the deal is we have to go to every movie that's ever made.
oh my Lord.
Before we move forward. I mean, every movie, we have to clear up every
Every
incident, every experience.
Isn't that what we're doing?
Yeah, but then we may have, who knows? I mean, I can't imagine that I'd be done after this life, but maybe. Yeah, who knows? I mean, I'd like to move on, but I feel like there's still stuff that I have to clear up before I die, but maybe, or before I move on, but maybe not. I mean, death is not real anyhow, so it could just be that I move on and I just don't even experience any stoppage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I
And
think is going to
it,
happen
it, it
anyway.
could be that you will get you'll remember why you're doing this. And right, I think once we remember why we're doing it, we can stop
Yeah,
because the bottom line of it, and we don't have to go through it anymore.
you remember the
It's
through line, kind of. You remember the through
Yeah,
line of your all your lives. You remember the through line of each life, and you connect each life with each other life until you remember your entire through line. Kind of like in Disappearance of the Universe.
Uh-huh.
when the entire through line was understood by the characters. And if I remember, I haven't read in a long time, but if I remember the entire through line of Thomas was he understood who he was on a larger scale. Am I right?
You're right, absolutely. And
Yeah,
I agree
and
with that completely.
yeah,
That's
and so once he
that's
understood
all
that,
right.
time to him was like moving through space.
Yeah. I
And
think that whole thing is part of the celestial speed up. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's cool. So yeah, I look at my life and try to understand that. Right, no one really does that. It's actually kind of a neat little thing to do. Is yeah, how they say you do your eulogy to wrap up your understand your life thus far.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of the idea is like, do your understand your through line of your life. What's been your life? What's been your purpose? How and in each life, if you do that, you can connect it with your future life, connect it with your past life, and maybe I've done that before many times. Maybe each life I've done that. I've wrapped up my life into a summary, and now and so I'll connect it. I'll wake up
And you just don't
some other
remember.
place in the next life, and I'll put it all together.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's no reason why not.
Yeah.
Because because there is a lifetime where you put it all together. It's already in the book.
Well, that's
So
true.
I'll get there.
Yeah, it's a discovering when it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to go through all of them. We can just go right to exactly where we need to go.
Yeah, shortcut.
So let's see, where are we at in our book here? Uh,
I think it's possibly you read that both
yeah,
of my doing. I think there
let's see. And okay, so uh
before you can truly know me.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think
what it is.
okay. Uh so do you want me to read?
Sure.
Okay. Before you can truly know me, however, you must learn that all things I give you are good, and that they are for use, my use, and that you personally have no interest or actual right to them, and they are of no real benefit to you, only as you put them into such use. I may be expressing through you beautiful symphonies of sound, color, or language that manifest as music, art, or poetry, according to human terminology, and which so affect others as to cause them to acclaim you as one of the great ones of the day. Let's see, Aaron, I may be speaking through your mouth or inspiring you to write many beautiful truths, which may be attracting to you many followers who hail you as a most wonderful preacher or teacher. I may even be healing through you diverse diseases, casting out devils, making the blind to see and the lame to walk, and performing other marvelous works which the world calls miracles. Yes, all these things I may be doing through you, but of absolutely no benefit is it of any of it to you personally, unless you use and apply these harmonies of sound in your every spoken word, so that all hearers they will seem as so that to all hearers they will seem as the sweet music of heaven. And unless your sense of color and proportion so manifests in your life that only kind, uplifting, helpful thoughts flow from you, proving that the only true art is that of seeing clearly my perfection in all human expressions, and of allowing the quickening power of my love to pour through you into their heart, picturing to their inner vision my image hidden therein. Wow, that's a lot of this.
I'm gonna sum
Yeah.
this up. It seems to me like what he's saying is that you can be in chapter 13 in First Corinthians, the love chapter.
Uh-huh.
If I had not love, I am this, I am that. It sounds like what basically he's saying is you could be a prophet, you could be this, you could be that, you could be the greatest person in the whole world. But if you don't have it, if you're not loving, if you're not caring, if you're not a good person, if you're not kind, then you're a joke.
Yes.
That seems to be what he's saying is that you could, you could he may be, he may be speaking through all these wonderful things, but but if you don't allow for the soft and the tender to come through, then you then you it's useless. All that stuff is useless.
Yeah, because the whole thing is that we love one another.
Right.
And so all of these things, whether we're, speaking and having a great ministry, or if we're, whatever it is that we may be doing, we have to acknowledge that all things come to us through the Father, and that it's all, the purpose of it is to heal the sonship.
Exactly.
There's no other purpose. And so uh, I think that's really all he's saying is, you have to acknowledge, because if you do acknowledge the the source of all of it, and recognize that this is all a gift to us, then you can be grateful for it. And when you're
Mhm.
grateful for it, that activates it in your heart and activates it in your mind, and brings about uh, the peace, the joy that is natural to the Son of God.
Yep. I mean, he says it. You know what the 366 lesson is, right?
No,
366. Don't be a dick. That's Jesus'
it's
360.
less one.
That's Jesus' 366 lesson. I listened to that years ago. I don't know if you remember online on the in the on the in the group. Everyone was having a big fight, and so I said, lesson 366 is Jesus' overall wrap up lesson is don't be a dick. So that's basically what he seems to be saying here is don't be an ass. Don't if you all that stuff, that all the great stuff, the miracles and the prophecy and the great teachings and all that. But if you're a butthead and you're that kind person, then all that's meaningless.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very simple. I mean, there are a lot of people like that. I mean, that's why he said that in the New Testament. He says that you do all these prophecies and cast out devils in my name, but I almost I never knew you.
that's it. Yeah,
There's a reason for that because there's so many people out there that they're so nasty and mean about it. You ever watch those preachers on TV a lot of times. You turn off the sound and they really look angry.
yeah,
It's funny. A lot of them, wow, that guy's angry. Look at him. And then you
angry,
put it,
right?
yeah. So that's what I see there when you first it was his way of saying the colors and the quickening power of my love to pour through you into their heart, picturing their inner vision of my image hidden therein. So see his love in them, and then you become the source of that love. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
We do have time to read more.
Let's see. Let me finish. Let me go into the next page.
Okay.
Uh, we have about 4 more minutes.
Okay.
Likewise, no credit attaches to you, no matter what wonderful truths I speak or works I perform through you, unless you yourself live these truths daily, hourly, and make these words serve as a constant reminder of me and my power, which I ever pour out freely for you, my beloved, and all to use in my service. So that's
It's
it.
amazing
Just
how close this guy he is to us. That's really what he seems to be really trying to push. He's really
yeah,
just so close.
exactly.
He's the I. When I say I and you say I, it's the same guy right there.
That's it.
There's
That's
only
it.
one spirit, and that spirit is the I. And then you put even the am, put the am afterwards. You're really putting some. It's like just I, the I. That's the Father within. That's how close the spirit is.
That's it. All right. I'm going to stop reading here,
Okay.
and we can pick that next
So
week.
there's you. That's the first word in our thing. You.
Yes, you to
That's,
whom.
yeah.
So, and did you have a song or anything? Or
I can find one unless you have one. Do you have one you want to play?
yeah, here I've got one.
All right,
So
good.
I'll play. This is our friend Mandy.
Okay.
Let me get to, where would it be? Right here, I guess. Trying to figure out where everything is. Share sound. All right. All right. Are you seeing a picture? Let me see. Let me start again.
I saw it before.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure.
I don't see it now, though.
There. Okay.
Now I do, yeah.
All right. So this is our friend Mandy Salk, and this song is called "Choose Only Love."
You see, if you might want to make it bigger, though, if you want us to see it fully.
There's no motion or anything.
Oh,
It's
I see.
just her. So this is her picture of Mother Mary. There we go.
That was great. Excellent. Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. That's Mandy Salk. Uh, she's here on Mondays earlier, so
That's very
um,
nice. I mean, it's just
thank you.
it was good to meditate on that. Meditation.
Yeah, very much so. So, all right, my love,
Yeah,
we
well, thank you
will.
so much. Thank you everyone for being here. God bless, and I'll see you all. I'll be here tomorrow at 10:30 with Anxiety to Love with Audrey. And until then, peace, everyone. God bless.